قال موسى لفتاه لا أبرح حتى أبلغ مجمع البحرين أو أمضي حقبا فلما بلغا مجمع بينهما نسيا حوتهما فاتخذ سبيله في البحر سربا فلما جاوزا قال لفتاه آتنا غداءنا لقد لقينا من سفرنا هذا نصبا قال أرأيت إذ أوينا إلى الصخرة فإني نسيت الحوت وما أنسانيه إلا الشيطان أن أذكره واتخذ سبيله في البحر عجبا قال ذلك ما كنا نبغ فارتدا على آثارهما قصصا.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. All praise are due to Allah, the Creator, the Cherisher and the Sustainer of the universe. And may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon all His prophets, and in particular Prophets Moses, Jesus, and the seal to prophethood, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My dear brothers and sisters, I greet you all with the greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we continue in our session in making tafsir of surat alkahf, and we have reached the story, one of the important stories that comes in Surah Al-Kahf. And we did go through this story in sort of a scanning mode last time, so that you have a background on the story. But today we would like to go in a little bit more detail, so that we can extract the learning points and lessons from this great story which has been mentioned. And the story is about Musa alayhi salam, one of the greatest of the prophets that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has selected to guide mankind in this life. And Prophet Musa alayhi salam, if we look at his life, actually the most spoken about prophet from the past prophets in the Quran is Prophet Musa alayhi salam. His name is mentioned almost about 200 times in the Quran, so the most spoken about. And his life is the one which is covered right from his birth, even before his birth, until his death time, and the different sequences that he has gone through. No other prophets actually have been covered in such a detail like the Prophet Musa alayhi salam has been covered in the Quran. And his stories are scattered in a number of surahs of the Quran. So this particular portion in Surah Al-Kahf speaks about a particular incident that happened in his lifetime. And we mentioned already the hadith which explains why this happened. If you remember, we mentioned the hadith in which the Prophet, peace be upon him, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mentioned to us that one day Prophet Musa alayhi salam was giving a speech to his companions, his followers. And someone asked Prophet Musa alayhi salam, is there anybody who is more knowledgeable than you? Is there anybody who is more knowledgeable than you? So Musa alayhi salam, because he knew that he is the prophet of the time, He is the one who has been selected. He is the one who has the direct link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He thought that from the human beings at the time, he is the most knowledgeable. So he said, yes, it is me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to teach him that although he has given him such an abundant knowledge, but he is actually from the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he has not even a small fraction of that, and no human beings can reach the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if the knowledge of whole the humanity was gathered together, in comparison with the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is negligible. It has no comparison whatsoever. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed Musa alayhi salam that even in your lifetime there is someone who is more knowledgeable. And that knowledge, when we talk about, is not the knowledge of the Sharia or the Deen, because Musa alayhi salam was selected to pass that information to people. However, there is other aspects of the knowledge which are not covered by the Sharia laws or by the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that other people may have higher knowledge. So Musa alayhi salam was informed that there is one particular person who has more knowledge than you. So Musa alayhi salam, although at the time when this story is happening, he is a prophet, not only that, but this is after Fir'aun, the tyrant king who was there at the time, who was already destroyed. So Musa alayhi salam not only was a prophet, but he was also the leader. You can say even he was the king of his people. So he had his followers, and he had his state, although they didn't yet reach Palestine, which was promised to them. They did not reach the land of Palestine, which was promised to them to enter, but they were in the Sinai desert at the time. However, he had his followers, all those people who came from Egypt with him, they were still with him. So although he was the leader, he was the prophet, he was elderly in age as well, but that did not stop him. Once he knew that there is somebody who is more knowledgeable than him, he wanted to go and seek the knowledge from him, from that particular person. And this should be one of the most important points that we should be taking from this story, that knowledge has no limit, that we are asked to seek the knowledge. As we say, min al-mahdi ila al-lahd, from the cradles, from the time that a person is born until the time he goes to the grave, he is supposed to be seeking knowledge, because every day a person should be increasing in his knowledge. So Musa alayhi salam, although he had this link with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although he was a prophet, although he was elderly in age already, mature enough to think that he is knowledgeable, and he was the leader of the people, but as soon as he knew that there is somebody who can pass him some knowledge, he straight away decided to go and seek that knowledge. So if we look at the first verse, which speaks about this story, it says, وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِفَتَاهُ, and you can read that with me on the screen. وَإِذْ قَالَ مُوسَى لِفَتَاهُ لَا أَبْرَحُ حَتَّى أَبْلُغَ مَجْمَعَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ أَوْ أَمْضِيَ حُقُبًا. And mention, i.e., O Prophet of Allah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mention to your followers, your people, those who are seeking the guidance from the Quran, mention to them the story when Moses said to his servant, he said to his servant, I will not cease traveling, i.e., I will continue looking for this person, I will continue looking for this person, I will not cease traveling until I reach the junction of the two seas, or continue for a long period of time. Actually, the Arabic word says أو أمضي حقوبا, and حقوب in Arabic, although it means periods as well, but the more commonly used is decades. So every 10 years is حقوب. Is a حقوب. So he's saying that even if I were to travel for decades, I will travel until I find this person and seek the knowledge from him. And this is the importance of the knowledge that Musa alayhi salam is illustrating, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put this story for us so we can extract that information, because this is why we have been created. فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Because when we increase in our knowledge, we will have more faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and our faith and love and the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase. So this is what Musa is seeking, that he wants to increase his knowledge. So he says to his servants that I will continue, I will not stop, I will not cease to travel until I find this person and gain the knowledge from him. And then another point here to mention is that he is taking this, although he is the king, so he could have taken a whole convoy of people with him, but it is his humbleness that he is going on his own. And we don't know the way, because that's not explained in the Quran. How did he go? How did he travel? Did he had a camel or a horse, or was he walking? Yeah, we don't exactly know, because those details are not really important for the lessons that we can extract. And we will find that in the Quran always, that those details which are not necessary, they are always omitted from the story. And sometimes a person, a human being, for example, he feels a jump going from one thing to the other, but he realizes that actually this intermediary information was not really necessary to make the message that should be coming. Sometimes the details actually make you confused. You don't focus on the lesson itself. When you get too much information as well, you are not able to focus on. So that's what Quran tries to give us, is the most important points that we need to focus on the story. So we will find as we go through the story that there are some jumps, and I will go through those as we go through the verses. So he is taking his servants. Is one particular boy, fatahu, the word which is used in Arabic is actually not servant. Yeah, is a boy. He's taken his boy, i.e. the one who is close to him. He is always a companion to him. And some of the narrations mention that he is actually the person who became the king after the death of Musa alayhi salam. So he's what we know, Yosha ibn Nun. He is the one who became the king, and he was the one who entered into Palestine, and he was the first person to settle as a king in Palestine after the death of Prophet Musa alayhi salam and his brother Harun alayhi salam, who died in the desert beforehand. So this was a boy at the time, and he accompanied Musa alayhi salam in this great journey that they had. And now look at the humbleness of Musa alayhi salam. He doesn't just tell his boy that let's go without explaining to him. He is actually explaining to him the objective of the journey. He is telling him that this journey might be long, and it might last for a long time, and there will be it might be tiring as well. So he is keeping the boy up to is giving him all the information so that he has the same enthusiasm to go through this story as Musa alayhi salam himself. So they reached, the objective was to reach at this junction between the two seas, and the sign which was given to Musa alayhi salam, that at this particular sign you will realize, or you will meet this person who is more knowledgeable than you. And we will learn that through the story itself, but I can tell you that that sign was that they will lose the fish, or the fish that they had with them, it will actually guide them to where the person is. So wherever they are going to lose the fish, that will be the time, or that will be the position or the place where they will find that knowledgeable person which they were supposed to seek knowledge from. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَجْمَعَ بَيْنِهِمَا, when they reached that junction between the two seas, or between them, they forgot their fish. They forgot their fish. What happened is that the fish, apparently it came out of the container. Some narrations, which are again not mentioned in the Quran, that it was a dead fish that came alive and it went into the ocean. But that detail we don't have again in the Quran. But what the Quran tells us, that it took So that fish took its course into the sea, slipping away, making a path in the ocean itself, and it ran away from them. Now, as we will learn from the following verse, that the boy noticed, he saw that happening. Musa alayhi salam did not see it. He was probably having some rest, sleeping. So, but the verse says, "Nasiya hutahuma." It says that both of them, they forgot their fish. So the explanation for this is that Musa alayhi salam forgot to ask about the fish when he woke up, and the boy forget to tell Musa alayhi salam that it had run away. The following verses will explain this. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَا, when they continued their journey and they were already beyond the point of the junction, this junction, Moses says to his boy, "Bring us our morning meal." Again, the morning meal here is not an accurate translation, because the Quran says غَدَاءَنَا, yeah, which we normally use for lunch, but it could be for the whole daylight. Yeah, it could be for the whole daylight. So it says, so we know that the journey took place during the day time. We don't know whether it has taken only one day, or was it they were walking for days. As we said, that Musa alayhi salam had his perseverance that he will continue in this journey until he finds this knowledgeable person, so that he can seek knowledge from that person. So they pass beyond this point, and Musa alayhi salam, now he tells his boy or his servant that, "Please bring us the food. We have really exhausted ourselves in this journey, and we are really very hungry from it. We have certainly suffered in this our journey much a fatigue." So I'm explaining what I understand from the Arabic, and also read the translation for you, so that sometimes the translation is not very accurate, because again, this is the understanding of the one who is making the translation. It's always the English translation is the understanding of the person who had made the translation. That's what, and so is what I'm telling you as well. My words are in no way similar to the words of the Quran. The words of the Quran are the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and is in perfect status. Whereas I'm translating what I understand from the verses, and wherever I see a difference between the translation, I do mention it too. So he asked for the food to be brought. Now he remembered, the boy has remembered that I have seen the fish has run away. What is it I'm going to serve you? قَالَ أَرَأَيْتَ إِذْ أَوَيْنَا إِلَى الصَّخْرَةِ فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ. Did you see? So the boy is telling Musa alayhi salam, did you see when we retired to the rock, at the time when we were sitting near that rock, that junction, we were having some rest. Indeed, I forgot the fish. I forgot about the fish and what happened to that fish, and none made me forget it except shaitan. So he's saying that I have not mentioned it to you out of my own intention. It's not that I had the intention not to tell you. I wanted to mislead you. I wanted to misguide you. I didn't want you to know that place. It's not because of that. It's actually I myself forgot. So it wasn't out of my own conscience that I didn't want to tell you. That's why I didn't tell you. But I actually was made to forget it, and that's why I didn't mention it to you. And then made me forget except shaitan. So he's saying that it is not from within myself. It is actually something that happened to me without my power, that I should mention it to you. And it took its course into the sea amazingly. And this particular sentence is mentioned twice. So if you focus on this, let me try to use my cursor here. So وَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا, this particular sentence. And if I go to the previous verse, which describes the same situation, he says over here, although it's in two lines now, فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا. So it's the same sentence, but ending with two different words. One is saying it has taken its path in the sea, saraba, and one is saying it has taken its path in the sea, ajaba. Yeah, saraba is slipping away, and the other one is amazingly. And people who actually look into the Quran, they always look at the differences. If it is the same sentence, same context, talking about the same thing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using different words, there must be some more potential meaning that is behind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using separate words. So these scholars tell us that, and we can learn that ourselves as well here from, that on the first one, it is actually a description from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is describing the way that the fish has slipped away in the sea, so it has found its path and it left behind it a pathway. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing. So for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not something amazing, because He knows, and it's taken the path and it has hidden away in the sea. But on the second sentence, it's actually the boy describing to Musa what has happened. So for the boy, the fish jumping from the container that they had into the sea and taking that path is something very amazing. Is something for him is a miraculous thing. So that's why he's using now the word amazingly. So it has taken that path amazingly. See the precision in the Quran when it describes the things. This precision is always there, and that's what we need to ponder upon. And this is what gives the Quran the beauty, that every time you read it, you always extract new points from it, you ponder on new meanings on it. And that's why we are reminded to read the Quran abundantly. And especially this particular surah, as we mentioned before as well, we are reminded to read every Friday. And this is the reason why we are tackling this surah. So we are going through this surah every session that we have here. So now he has mentioned to Musa alayhi salam what has happened. So Musa alayhi salam said, this is the thing that we wanted. Exactly that was the sign that we were looking for. That was the sign that we were looking for, that when this fish goes away from us, when we lose that fish, that is the place when we are going to meet that knowledgeable person. قال ذلك ما كنا نبغي فارتد على آثارهما قصصا. Moses said, that is what we were seeking. So they returned following their footprints. So it seems that it wasn't long time ago. They straight away started following that footpath. Now the interesting thing here is that although Musa alayhi salam was tired, he wanted to have rest, he was hungry, he wanted to have food, nothing of that is mentioned. It seems that Musa alayhi salam, as soon as he knew that, that was the place and they have missed it, he forgot about all this tiredness, he forgot about all this suffering. He wants to seek the knowledge, because that is his prime objective. The prime objective for him is actually to seek knowledge. So he forgets about all of this thing. Let's go back quickly to that position before we miss that person. So again, nothing of that eating the food and so on is mentioned after this. So they continued. Now they arrived to that place, and as it was the sign given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he met that particular person. فَوَجَدَا عَبْدًا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing this person, or the qualities of this person that he had, which made him to become knowledgeable on this. And they found a servant from among our servants to whom we had given mercy. So this is a very important quality for a person to have. Knowledge on its own is not everything. Knowledge without mercy, we can see that at what status it can lead people to. I mean, what is happening in the world now, because of we are getting so much advance in technology and so on. Sometimes we utilize that knowledge into destruction of the humanity. And the stories that we are hearing about this virus, Ebola, and other viruses which are there, or the bombs and so on that have been created by human beings, see how we are using them for the destruction of our own selves. So this is the danger when the balance between that mercy and compassion and the knowledge is not there, we are not really going to do good in this. So that mercy needs to be there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that this particular person is not only that he had the knowledge, but he had before the knowledge, what is the first criteria which is mentioned is that actually he was one of the servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdun min ibadina. So he is a believer in Allah, he has a faith, he has the faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was the first quality. And the second quality, that he had mercy in him. One of his qualities was having mercy in him. And the third quality was ilm, the knowledge. So, and they found a servant from among our servants to whom we had given mercy from us and had taught him from us a certain knowledge. So he had specific knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now imagine Musa alayhi salam, as I mentioned before, he is a prophet, he is the king, he is mature, he is elderly, he has come all this way to learn from this person, and he is asking him humbly that I have come to you. قال له موسى هل أتبعك على أن تعلمني مما علمت رشدا. Moses says to this person, may I follow you, may I accompany you on so that you teach me from what you have been taught of sound judgment. So it's not any knowledge he is looking after, he is looking for beneficial knowledge. تعلمني مما علمت رشدا. Rushda is beneficial, the one that you can use, you can benefit from in this life. So it's not every knowledge we should be just going after, but it's knowledge that we can get guidance from it. It can help us to develop in this life. It help us to also develop in our faith and our spiritual aspects as well. So he's requesting this pious person, knowledgeable person, to actually allow him to accompany him, follow him, so that he can learn from him knowledge that is sound and beneficial knowledge. Now look at, in contrast, what this man is going to respond. Now we have said that this person has all those qualities. He's God-fearing, he's a pious person, he is full of mercy which was given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he has knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, special knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So instead of him saying to Musa alayhi salam, yes, come and learn from me, he shocks Musa alayhi salam, although he realizes that this person has been traveling and taking all that suffering in the journey. He says to him, he said, indeed, with me you will never be able to have patience. So he says, you don't have the quality actually to stay with me, to accompany me, you don't have the quality. So it's better that you don't really try to follow me. You will not learn from me because you don't have the patience to be with me. Now, what we also learn, that is, although it is a shocking answer from this person, that he was doing all this journey and hardship, going through all this hardship, and yet this teacher that he thought he's going to teach him is telling him, now you are not capable of being with me. Imagine how hard would have been. So imagine if you take, for example, journey to travel such a long distance for a particular objective, and then that objective you are not able to meet. How would you feel in that? So let's put ourselves in that shoes and imagine how hard would it had been. But the way that this pious person is putting it actually is a polite way. Although we always ponder on that he rejected, he did not want to teach Musa alayhi salam. But the way that he is putting it actually shows that this person was indeed having the mercy on Musa alayhi salam. So he says, قَالَ إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. So there is that specific word, مَعِيَ, which means with me the patience. I.e., you might be a patient person, you might be a strong person, you might be able to be patient in all other aspects, but in the things that I do and in accompanying me, with me, you will not have the patience. So he's not saying that you don't have the capability of patience at all. He said that things that I do will be strange to you, you will not be able to have the patience with me. So he's putting that explanation to him so that he doesn't And this is a quality also that we should be using with our students, with our anybody that we are dealing with, that not to hinder people, even if we think that they will not have the capacity or capability to gain what we are giving them. We should not push them back and tell them. And also this is actually another way. Some scholars say that it is sort of creating a challenge for Musa alayhi salam. It's also creating a challenge that, okay, maybe in the next, as we will learn, that at the end this person did allow Musa alayhi salam to accompany him, but he wanted to put him in the right perspective, to have the right perspective from the beginning, that okay, it will be a challenge for you to have that patience. So he's doing that as well. So it's not a complete rejection, but he wants to put him in the right state of mind before they start learning. So he tells him that indeed with me you will never be able to have patience. And then he explains, so it's not because of anything in you. وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ عَلَى مَا لَمْ تُحِطْ بِهِ خُبْرًا. And how can you have patience for what you do not encompass in knowledge? So when a person doesn't really have sufficient knowledge on something, you will feel that he is tense, he is not comfortable with that, you know, and not patient with that as well. So this person is explaining to Musa alayhi salam that the reason why you will not have the patience, because you don't encompass that knowledge. And we will learn that as we go through this story later on. What did he really mean by encompassing this knowledge? So Musa alayhi salam in response did not started arguing with him. Oh, I am the prophet of Allah, and how can you reject me? I have been traveling all these journeys, coming to you. I am the king, I am so and so, you should teach me, you have to teach me. No, all what he said, satajiduni insha'Allahu sabiran wala asi laka amra. So he's behaving like a student. He is behaving like, to encourage the other person as well, that indeed I'm really keen to learn from you. So he's saying, Moses said, you will find me, if Allah wills, patient. And he's putting that power in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the support of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will see me being patient with you, and I will not disobey you in any order. So he's giving him that reassurance that yes, maybe I don't have that knowledge that you're talking about, maybe I'm not able to encompass everything, but you will indeed see me that I am a patient one with you when you take me in your journey, and I will not disobey you in any of the orders that you give me. So in return he says, okay, I have a condition then. If you are going to follow me, I have one condition. If you fulfill that condition, then you will continue accompanying me. If you disrupt that condition, then you will we will have to go apart from each other. So قال فإن اتبعتني فلا تسألني عن شيء حتى أحدث لك منه ذكرا. He said, then if you follow me, do not ask me about anything until I make to you about it a mention. I.e., if I do something and you have a question about it, don't ask me at the time, and wait for me until I give you the explanation. When I give you the explanation, then we will continue together. If you keep on asking me the questions when I'm doing those things, then we will separate. So the condition is that you don't ask me until I explain to you myself. So apparently they agreed. Yeah. Again, we don't have that detail in the verses. So they agreed on the condition and blah blah and blah blah. It's not there. Straight away it goes into فَانْطَلَقَ. So they went together. Yeah, all of that detail is jumped now because it's not necessary to understand this story. So they set out together. They now gone for this journey until when they had embarked on a ship. So they were traveling. They came on board of a ship, and some stories say that actually those people from the ship, they have welcomed them to come on the ship for free. So they are taking them from one side of the sea to the other side without any charge. So they're getting a free ride on the ship. This is a report. It's in some of the reports that are there. is not mentioned in the Quran. So anyhow, that detail is not really necessary. They embarked on a ship, and this pious person, what he started doing, he started digging a hole in that ship. So now these people have been kind to them. They allowed them to ride in their boat. Yeah, and from the look of them, they look like poor people, and they have been so kind. And this pious person started making a hole in that ship. What will happen to the ship? If he digs a hole, it will sink. So Moses says, have you torn it? Moses straight away became angry. What is this action that you are doing? Forgetting everything before about the condition and everything. Have you torn it open to drown its people? You have certainly done a grave thing. لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا إِمْرًا. So you are trying to drown those people. And look at the way that Musa alayhi salam is also putting it. He's not worried about himself. He's not worried about this person. But he's saying, لِتُغْرِقَ أَهْلَهَا. So he's more concerned about those people who are in the ship. You are actually going to make them drown, those people. And this shows the quality of Musa alayhi salam, who was thinking about his people. So he's not just saying me, or he's not saying me and you, but he's saying actually the people of the ship. You have certainly done a grave thing. So straight away, instead of answering him why he has done this, why he has not done that, and so on, this person reminds him of the condition that they had set before moving. قال ألم أقل إنك لن تستطيع معي صبرا. Did I not say? And in all those verses, although in the Quran translation you have between brackets Moses and you have Al-Khidr, it's not there, by the way, in the Quran. It says قال. And the person who is reading, from the context, he understands who is saying what. And this is again a beauty of the Quran. And it, instead of repeating the names here and then, you go through it and you ponder upon the meaning. So this also is a way of attracting the attention of the person who is reading. So he's following that. If everywhere there were names and so on, it would have become boring to read. So the Quran, the way that it has been put, again the precision is there. And the name Al-Khidr is not mentioned altogether in the Quran at all. Not in this verses, not anywhere else. The Khidr is coming from some reports that this pious person's name was Al-Khidr. So he said, did I not say that with me you would never be able to have patience? Did I not tell you? So he's reminding him of the condition that they had set for them to follow. Now Musa alayhi salam remembered, because he had forgotten, because of the action, he forgot all these conditions. How come you are trying to drown those people? So now he remembered, so he said, do not blame me for what I forgot, and do not cover me in my matter with difficulty. So do not push me with difficulty. I have seen already the difficulty of digging this hole. Don't also make it difficult for me by asking me to leave you. So I actually forgot. So it's a way of apologizing that I did this because I forgot the condition. So he is also pondering on the condition itself as well, not really on the ship and what has happened. They went back to the deal that was in between them, the condition which was between them, and they spoke only about this condition. فَانْطَلَقَ. The journey continues. So they set out again. So again the details is not mentioned. They came down from the boat. What has happened to the boat? There is no details at all, because some of these parts will be explained later on when we go. But the sequence is not there. فَانْطَلَقَ. So they continued their journey. حَتَّى إِذَا لَقِيَا غُلَامًا فَقَتَلَهُ. Until when they met a boy. So apparently a boy was playing in the street or something, we don't know exactly, but they found a boy. So this pious person, he took that boy and killed him. Musa alayhi salam was really angry at this action. The first one, we could have said, okay, maybe the people will get rescued from that boat and from that ship, and they may be able to swim and go out. But he is doing that action himself and killing this boy who is young, who hasn't even reached the age of puberty, so hasn't committed any sins or anything. So he tells him straight away, قال أقتلت نفسا زكية بغير نفس لقد جئت شيئا نكرا. So they set out until when they met a boy, Al-Khidr killed him. Musa alayhi salam said, have you killed a pure soul? Pure soul meaning not reaching the age of adulthood. He hasn't yet started, or his actions are not started being recorded. No? Until the age of adulthood, a person is pure. Once he becomes an adult, then all his actions get written down or recorded. So if he does a good thing, it's recorded. If he does a bad thing or a sin he commits, is also recorded. So Musa alayhi salam is saying that he has not even reached that age. He is a pure soul. He is nafsan zakiyah, and he has not killed anyone. بغير nafs. If he might have killed somebody else, maybe we can say that okay, because you kill him. But he even not killed anybody else. You have certainly done a deplorable thing. This is something beyond imagination that you have done. It's a grave sin that you have committed by killing this pure soul. So instead of answering him and explaining to him this again, the man tells him that قال ألم أقل لك, and this time he adds this word لك. Have I not told you specifically? I had that specific deal with you, a condition that you will not ask him about anything, and I told you that you won't be able to be patient with me. I told you this up front, that you won't have the patience to stay with me. Did I not tell you that with me you would never be able to have patience? So Musa alayhi salam again remembered that, oh, he did have that condition, but this action was really beyond imagination. قال إن سألتك عن شيء بعدها فلا تصاحبني قد بلغت من لدني عذرا. If I now ask you about anything else after this, then do not keep me as your companion. You have obtained from me an excuse. 3 times you have given me chances and I was not able to hold myself. If I do it for the 3rd time, that's it. Then you will have the excuse actually to not allow me to accompany you. So please give me a 3rd chance. So he still did not answer what was going on, and we have no details again in between. فانطلق, and they continued in their journey. So they set out again until when they came to the people of a town. The word qarya could be translated as a town, but maybe a village is much more appropriate translation. So they arrived at a village or a town, and they went to the people, or they saw people in that town, and they requested them for some food. They requested them for some food, and apparently again we can make the explanation that they have been taking this long journey, they were hungry and so on. So they requested some food from the people of the town. They asked its people for food, but they refused. So those people of the town, normally what you would have imagined, that people are generous people, especially for travelers who are strangers in the village, especially in the old days. Maybe nowadays we have all these restaurants and places to go and so on, but in the past it was actually the people of each of the villages. There will be some of those people will be generous, and they will invite people to come and sit with them and have rest with them. So they thought these people will be kind enough to provide them with some food. However, they refused. They refused to offer them any hospitality, let alone the food, not even allowing them to maybe stay. فَأَبَوْا أَن يُضَيِّفُوهُمَا. They did not give them any hospitality. And they found, so they walked in this village, and they found therein a wall that was about to collapse. So this wall that they found was about to collapse. So what this person did, this pious person or the knowledgeable person that Musa alayhi salam was accompanying, he went to that wall that was about to collapse and he restored that wall. So those people who were miserly, who were bad to them, who did not welcome them, who were not having any hospitality to them, for them he is building this wall. He is restoring this wall which is about to collapse. So for Musa alayhi salam, this was a strange thing to do. Again, he wasn't able to hold his patience, and he cried to this person that if you wished, he said, the least we could have done is that we could have asked them for recompense for this work that we have done. If you wish, you could have taken for it a payment. And he's not objecting in a way that he was doing it in the previous ones, because the previous ones were wrong actions, and he was straight away asking questions to him. Over here, he is having a suggestion. He's not really asking a question, but he is having a suggestion. If you wished, he says, you could have taken for it a payment. You could have taken for what you have done a payment. But the deal was that he will not say anything. He will not suggest anything. No explanation would be asked. قال هذا فراق بيني وبينك. We have reached a point where we should depart now. سأنبئك بتأويل ما لم تستطع عليه صبرا. Indeed, this is the parting between me and you. I will inform you of the interpretation of that about which you could not have patience. So this is the turning point. This is the point that they will depart. Although it was not in the deal actually that Musa will provide the explanation, but he is giving him that explanation. He says that now I will tell you the explanation of those actions from me that you were not able to have patience on. And at this particular point we will break, so that I encourage you to come next time to listen to the explanations. Is that a good moment of break? Now we have passed our time. We have taken about just a little bit less than an hour. So I would like to allow some time for brothers and sisters, if you have any comments or questions to ask, for the explanation of the actions that this particular person, which are mentioned in the coming verses, and we will go through them in our next session, inshallah. Although I know, you are anxious now to go through them now, but if we go through them now, we will take another at least 40 minutes or so, which I don't want to keep you for that long time. So yes, the floor is yours if you have any comments, any questions, anything that has caught your mind from the explanation that I have provided from the verses. So please go ahead. Yes. The brother is asking a very good question here. On verse 63, the boy, when he responded to Musa alayhi salam, he says, وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانُ أَنْ أَذْكُرَهُ. The translation is that and none made me forget it except the shaitan or the devil. So the brother is asking, if we forget, is it always coming from the shaitan, or there are other means? Actually, this forgetfulness is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's one of the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are able to forget. Imagine if we were not able to forget all this, sometimes the hard times that we go through, these difficulties that we go through in this life. If we are not able to forget the people who have passed away, for example, and we really were attached to them, or something bad that has happened to us, we were not able to forget how difficult it would have been for us to live. If we were not able to forget, for example, our sisters here who have given birth to children, if they were not able to forget that pain that they go through, they will never have a second child. They will never have a child after that. So this forgetfulness is actually a bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are able to forget. Otherwise, all those things, if they go in our minds, we won't be able to actually move forward at all. So this forgetfulness is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given us. And some scholars, they tell us actually the word insan, which is the Arabic word for man, is coming from nisyan, or it has a similar root as nisyan, which the forgetful entity or something. So we are people who can forget. We have this ability to forget. We are able to clean our disk every night. It gets clean so that we can fill in it new stuff, and our life goes on. So this forgetfulness is a bounty from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, indeed, it happens for different reasons as well. So the main thing is that this is an ability that we have, which is good, which is giving us a push in this life to continue our life. But also other reasons are associated with forgetfulness, and one of them is mentioned here, which is coming from the devil. So indeed, devil has got the ability to make us forget. Yeah, he has got that ability which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him to whisper with us. But when we are closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, devil has no power. That's why he is called in the Quran min sharri al-waswasi al-khannas. Al-waswas al-khannas. He is having those two qualities, that he is waswas and khannas. So he is able to whisper, but he is actually khannas as well. So إذا ذكر الله, as the Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the hadith, إذا ذكر الله خنس وإذا نسي وسوس. So when a person remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this shaitan khanas means to go and hide but be ready to attack. He's hovering, just like the helicopter hovering, looking for the best position to land. The shaitan is doing like that as well, looking for the best position to land. So when a person forgets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shaitan has ability to land on the heart of that person. But when he remembers, وَإِذَا ذَكَرَ اللَّهَ خَنَسْ, yeah, وَإِذَا نَسِيَ وَسْوَسْ. So when he remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shaitan goes and hides, but he is ready to attack. But when he remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he hides. When he forgets Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the shaitan attacks. And that's why we always supposed to read this last verse of the Quran. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ. So also from human beings, there are people who make us forget. It's not only the shaitan that makes us forget, it's also from human being people who can make us forget by taking us in the wrong path, not path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the key message from the verse, which I mentioned in the talk as well, that the way the boy is saying this sentence, as if he is saying that I have not done this intentionally. I haven't mentioned the fish, that it has run away. I did not mention it to you, not because I had the intention not to mention it to you. Yeah? I forgot, and actually it was something which was beyond my own capabilities. I really forgot. It was from outside myself that I didn't mention it to you. So that's what he is trying to highlight. Okay, very good question from sister. Sister is saying that I mentioned that when we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, shaitan goes away. However, quite a lot of time when we are praying, we have all those thoughts that are coming in our minds and so on. So how, although we are remembering Allah, but actually shaitan is still with us, and he is trying to whisper in our minds in the prayers. So the answer to this, my sister, is that although we are saying that we are remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the prayers, we are saying that we are actually standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we make our minds go away from from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah is not in our focus in the prayer. As soon as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes in our focus, then we get that attention back, we get that feeling back that we are actually remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it goes away. The shaitan again goes away. So at the time when we start the prayer, maybe especially in the beginning, yes, our attention is there, but soon after that we start getting away from that. And this is because although we are uttering it with our tongue, the prayers, and we are reciting with our tongue and so on, but our mind is actually somewhere else. So as if we are not really making the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why one of the key things in the prayers to keep your attention is that having the feeling that you are really standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are worshipping Allah, and you are, by reciting those verses, you are actually talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that feeling itself, and that way of thinking when we are reading the verses of the Quran, those actually keep our attention in the prayer all the time. But as soon as that attention goes away and we utter the words without actually pondering on them, we are not really making the dhikr anymore. So the shaitan has the way to come and whisper, and we just continue diving in and in and in more and more and more. So when we pull back ourselves, remember Allah, and remember that we are standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it comes back again, and we get our thoughts back. Yes, so let me repeat your question for the rest of the brothers and sisters. Sister is asking that Musa alayhi salam mentioned when this pious person killed a boy. So Musa alayhi salam, in response, he said, أَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا زَكِيَّةً بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ. The use of بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ, without this boy actually killing somebody else. How come you have killed him without him killing anybody else? So she is asking a number of points in the same question. Was that the law for Musa alayhi salam, which continued? Yes, indeed, it was the law, and that's mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah as well. That they had the law, as-sin bis-sin, النفس بالنفس والسن بالسن والجروح قصاص. So it is mentioned in that particular verse that a soul can only be killed if that person has killed somebody else. That was the only condition which was there. But what your ending sentence was the correct explanation. So he's trying to give an excuse to Al-Khudr. If this person might have killed somebody, yes, then you have you can kill him if he had killed someone else, but we don't even know. We just met this boy and we killed him. So how come you are killing him when we know that he has not even killed? لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا نُكْرًا. You indeed have done something, a grave sin, which we shouldn't be doing, especially taking the soul. This soul which is given to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one who has given us, and He is the only one who is allowed to take it from us. So nobody has that right to take that soul, and the only right that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. And in Islam is actually slightly different. Although a soul can be taken if it takes the soul, but there are a lot more detail to that rule, which we don't have time right now to go through. So indeed, it's a good comment, but it just highlights the anger that Musa alayhi salam had at this particular action. Anything else? I think our time has expired. So if there are no further questions, then we'll bring this session to a close, and we'll go through the explanation of the actions of this pious person and why he did. We will understand the wisdom behind them. We will see the same incident from totally different angle, from totally different point of view. That will change our understanding of the verses. Not only that, but the main reason why the story is mentioned is that we also need to view the things that are happening surrounding us from a different perspective. Maybe we keep on looking them from one perspective that is always negative, but there is another perspective to it which is really positive, and we don't understand it until we get that picture. So this story is actually trying to explain to us that we go through some hardships in life. Things could go wrong at times, but be sure that behind those things or these happenings to us, there are wisdom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we may not understand. Most of the time, many times we don't understand, but there must be a wisdom behind things that are happening. So this is what this story at the end is going to highlight in a nutshell, but we'll go through each of those incidents and explain them in the way that this pious person had the knowledge and he was able to interpret them, and that's the reason that he had taken those actions for those. So with that we will close. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us for the shortcomings, or if there was anything wrong that we have said, or any misinformation that was there. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward us for all the good things that we had. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering a blessed gathering where His angels are, and where His mercy descends, and where people get forgiven when they stand from this gathering. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering one of the gatherings that He likes, and because the best of the gatherings are the gatherings in which the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned, and His ayat, His verses, His signs are discussed. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from among those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم واغفر لنا إنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. وجزاكم الله خير.